Today I want to chat about stress and mindfulness in a weight loss journey. So stress and mindfulness is important for every human, of course, but I really want to make some connections to where I see it come up in weight loss. A lot of clients that come to me have tried all of the diets. They've tried intermittent fasting, keto, Weight Watchers. They've tried a lot of low-calorie things, but they haven't really tried a lot of mindfulness practices. And they don't typically understand what stress really is and how the body registers different things as what I would consider stress. So let's get into it. What is stress? Well, first we need to know what the HPA axis is, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. This is a part of our brain that registers different stressors and tells our body how to respond via hormonal secretions. Hormones are chemical messengers. They talk to all of our different organs and body systems. Okay, so besides things that you would probably think of as stress, such as a terrible thing happening to you, like a death or a breakup or a coronavirus type of a situation, that is really stressful to go through. Other things like how much we are eating. Way too much food or not enough food are both going to be stressful. What I typically see is people under eating or missing essential nutrients, such as proteins and fatty acids that our body needs in order to properly repair itself. Another one is exercise, not getting enough or getting way too much. So this is where sometimes people starting a really intense exercise program or an athlete could have an additional stressor. Another one is how we grew up. If we had really traumatic experiences in our childhood, these can sometimes stay in our body as trauma and be causes to stress hormones and to HPA axis issues. And then our daily thoughts. So all of the other factors I talked about can influence what we're thinking about on a daily basis, but some of that is over our control. We can definitely implement practices like affirmations, meditation, journaling to change and rewire our thoughts. There's also going to be things that were ingrained into our subconscious brain from a very young age that we don't necessarily have control over, but I do believe we can still change those things. So, how do these stressors influence how we gain and store weight? Well, one of them comes down to blood sugar. So one of my favorite books, it's called Fast Like a Girl, and whether you want to implement fasting or not, I think it's a really great read. It does talk mostly about female physiology, but I think that a lot of the information still applies to men in general. There's a lot of great information also in different research studies on how fasting influences blood sugar and metabolic health. But anyways, so if our cortisol and stress levels are higher, our blood sugar is going to be influenced. It's going to be higher because our body is preparing us to take on a stressful experience. It wants to make sure we have enough available energy. So even if we have not been eating carbohydrates and foods that will bring up our blood sugar that day, our stress level could cause our body to secrete the stored blood sugar that we have in our liver, in our muscles, and cause us to have blood sugar issues. I have seen it. I have seen people who are not eating enough and they have high blood sugar, high insulin, but also we do need to look at the types of carbohydrates we are eating, the type of quality of vitamins and minerals we are getting. These can all influence blood sugar too. But when we have trouble controlling our blood sugar and how we utilize carbs, we are more prone to have food cravings, partly because our cells are just not getting the amount of nourishment that they need. I also do think that there is some connection with the nervous system that I'm not going to get into, but when you think about it, when you're more stressed, you're not feeling right, you are more likely to just be grabbing for whatever food is available to try to calm yourself with something that tastes good. That makes sense. So a goal of a lot of my coaching is to help people build habits that keep their blood sugar more stable throughout the day and that keep their stress levels lower, okay? We don't even really need to test our cortisol to determine if we have cortisol issues, okay? I go more so off of symptoms. And chances are, if you live a very busy lifestyle where you are rushing frequently, this is definitely me sometimes, but I'm working on it just like you are. If we have a lot of financial stress, if we have a lot of family responsibility, we're constantly trying to help others and be a people pleaser. All of these things can contribute to more emotional stress and put us more at risk of blood sugar issues and food cravings, okay? Cravings themselves are not inherently bad, right? It's okay to sometimes crave a food that you enjoy. But if we are constantly thinking about food and constantly feeling like we need to be snacking, then there might be something going on underneath that we could be changing and we can be targeting with specific protocols. And that brings me to one of the most basic, simple, cost-free things that we can implement, and that is breath work. I think that any human can benefit from getting more in touch with their breath, especially anyone on a weight loss journey. So this can be added in throughout the day in small doses or in big doses, whatever you prefer. I think that it can sometimes be even better than exercise right away to really just help us get in touch with our body. But I know that some people really, really dislike it. And so there are different ways we can do breath work. We can do short segments called box breathing. Look that up on YouTube. It's a really simple practice. We can do longer guided meditations. We can even do walking meditations where we focus on our breath while we are walking, while we are in nature. If you feel like sitting is just really, really not where you want to begin. We can do yoga as well. So there are a lot of options, but these all help us to make more clear decisions around food, to really be in touch with, are we actually hungry, or are we just bored, are we just stressed, but also to improve our heart rate, our blood pressure, our digestion. And I love adding in breath work before a meal. If you struggle with digestion and you have not consistently learned blood work, done it before eating regularly, then I would definitely incorporate this. Of course, there's going to be other things, supplements, food eliminations that might help, but this is such a simple thing you have to be trying. And one principle that, or not even principle, one ideology called intuitive eating that is a really, really common thing to use in the nutrition field for improving our relationship with how we view food, how we view our diet, how we view our habits. It's not maybe right for everybody, but I think almost everybody can pull something of value from it, and some people will benefit a lot more than others, okay? I am somebody who likes to share about it with all of my clients. I use these practices in my own life, but I also am someone who will use some food tracking and becoming aware of how much my body really does need. And I think that you can definitely do both. So let me just list off the principles of what intuitive eating really are for you. The first one is rejecting the diet mentality. So rejecting the idea that we need to follow a very strict, specific diet plan, okay? These oftentimes are gonna eliminate foods like sugar, gluten, or dairy or something. And while sometimes people benefit from that, we oftentimes can take an 80-20 approach, and we don't need to follow something perfectly. That just takes that stress off of us. The next one is honoring your hunger. So learning how to eat when we're hungry, not eat when we are not hungry. Making peace with food, not blaming food for all of our health and weight problems, but understanding that there's more deeper things. There's more lifestyle things we can be implementing. It's not just about food, and we can still enjoy certain foods for fun. There are some other principles I'm leaving out, but the last one I really want to bring up is respecting our body. So using food movement habits as a way to honor what our body can do for us. Respect that we need to give it the right building blocks, the right tools in order to thrive, because our bodies really do want to heal. So I'm going to share some books that I have loved that have led me to learn about a lot of these topics that I think a lot of people can benefit from. Please ask me any questions you have, and I am rooting for you on your health journey. You can do this.